Imagine walking into your local grocery store only to be greeted by barren shelves and the eerie buzz of refrigerators with nothing to chill. Think it's just a nightmare? Think again. Over the past few years, this haunting reality has gone from rare to terrifyingly routine. Our once reliable grocery stores, brimming with abundance, are now vulnerable battlegrounds in the struggle to keep essentials within reach. It's no secret that the cracks in our global supply chains have turned into gaping chasms. Back in 2021, the United States alone suffered staggering losses over $82 billion in missed sales because products simply weren't there. That's $1.4 billion disappearing from retailers' pockets each week. And at its worst, a jaw-dropping $1.75 billion in just 7 days. Yet, this isn't just about numbers. Each empty aisle tells a personal story: missed meals, unfulfilled needs, and sacrifices made by countless families. The fallout wasn't just inconvenient, it was devastating. Fast forward to today, and the situation hasn't improved, it's grown even darker. According to Kate Dennis, a leading voice from the Consumer Brands Association, these shortages are no longer about temporary disruptions or panic buying. She warns they're far more systematic, lingering, and deeply entrenched. Even household names General Mills, Kellogg, and other giants have struggled to meet demand, leaving the rest of us scrambling for basic necessities. This winter, we're heading into uncharted territory. Certain essential items are at risk of vanishing entirely from store shelves, and their absence could upend daily life as we know it. What are these items? Stick with us, because we're counting down 12 critical products that might disappear from your grocery store this winter, and trust us, you'll want to be prepared. Grab a seat, this is one list you can't afford to ignore. Number 12 on our list is something sweet, sticky, and irreplaceable: maple syrup. That golden liquid you drizzle lovingly over your pancakes, waffles, or oatmeal may be slipping out of reach faster than you think. But why? Brace yourself, because the answer is more unsettling than a chilly winter morning. Maple syrup isn't just another sweetener. It's born from the delicate and precise balance of nature, a gift from the sugar maple trees of the northeastern United States and Canada. These trees rely on cold, stable winters and a unique freeze-thaw cycle for their sap to flow. But with the climate spiraling into unpredictability, warmer winters are wreaking havoc on this delicate process. No freezing nights, no sap flow, no maple syrup. The process doesn't stop there. Once harvested, the sap undergoes hours of expert boiling, a technique that extracts its complex, caramelized flavor. But as the climate shifts and sap becomes more inconsistent, farmers are finding not just less sap, but sap that doesn't quite taste the same. The syrup you know and love, with its signature depth, could change forever, leaving future generations wondering, what was all the fuss about? It gets worse. If conditions continue to decline, sugar maples may no longer be able to survive in their native regions. Imagine a world where industries reliant on maple syrup collapse, farmers lose their livelihoods, and breakfast tables are left bare of that sweet, magical touch. Maple syrup isn't just a commodity, it's culture, tradition, even comfort. And it could be disappearing right before our eyes. Are we prepared to face a world without it? Keep watching, because things only get more unsettling from here. Number 11 on our list might shock you: potatoes. Yes, the humble, versatile spud. From fries to mashed potatoes, from chips to stews, this dietary staple is woven into the fabric of meals around the world. But what if I told you the potato's fate is more precarious than you think? Brace yourself, because the disappearance of the potato isn't just possible, it's terrifyingly close. Potatoes, native to the Andean highlands, have long been a reliable source of nourishment for millions. They've adapted to various climates across continents, but here's the catch: they're not as hardy as they seem. Potatoes are extremely sensitive to temperature fluctuations, and as global weather patterns grow more chaotic, so does the risk to potato crops. A sudden shift in temperature can mean reduced harvests or worse, total crop failures. And then there's the silent killer pathogens. Most infamous among them is the deadly potato blight, the same disease that fueled the catastrophic Irish potato famine of the 1840s. Today, potato blight remains a lurking threat, thriving in damp environments and wiping out crops faster than farmers can react. Pair this with droughts caused by erratic rainfall patterns, and you have a ticking time bomb ready to obliterate potato supplies. For a crop so dependent on consistent water and stable conditions, these challenges aren't just hurdles, they're existential threats. Think about it: potatoes are a primary food source for billions of people. If this crop starts vanishing, the ripple effects will be devastating. Rising prices, empty shelves, and nutrition gaps could reshape how and if we eat. Are we ready for a world without potatoes? Without fries, chips, or even the comforting familiarity of a baked potato? Stick around, because this list only gets darker from here. Number 10 on our list is a global staple, a drink that serves as a lifeline for billions: tea. Whether it's your morning pick-me-up or your evening wind down, tea is more than just a beverage. But what if I told you your favorite brew, that comforting cup of goodness, could be slipping away? The truth is as brewing as the tea itself, and it's far from pleasant. Tea, grown in major regions like India, China, and Kenya, thrives in specific conditions: stable rainfall, the right soil, and predictable weather patterns. But climate change is rewriting the rules. The rainfall these lush plantations rely on has become erratic, exposing tea crops to droughts and flooding alike. This isn't just bad for the yield, it directly impacts the flavor, stripping away the richness and aroma we've taken for granted. The thought of tea that tastes flat or bitter instead of refreshing. It's more horrifying than you might expect. And it doesn't stop there. Shifting weather conditions have invited more unwelcome guests to the tea farm's pests and diseases. These threats, amplified by warmer temperatures, are laying waste to already vulnerable crops. Farmers are fighting battles on multiple fronts, scrambling to save this centuries-old tradition from vanishing altogether. The stakes are high, not just for consumers but for millions of farmers whose livelihoods depend on cultivating tea leaves. If these challenges go unchecked, the soothing ritual of brewing tea may become a luxury or worse, a fading memory. Imagine reaching for your favorite tea blend on a chilly winter day, only to find it's no longer there. This isn't just a loss for tea lovers, it's a wake-up call. Stick with us, because as comforting as tea is, the rest of this list only gets more unsettling. Number 9 on our list is something you probably consume every single day without a second thought: wheat. From the fluffy bread that holds your favorite sandwich to the comforting plate of pasta on a cold evening, wheat weaves itself into nearly every cuisine on the planet. But what if this humble grain, one of the most vital pillars of food security, started slipping away? Sit tight, because this isn't some distant possibility, it's a looming reality. The world's major wheat-growing regions, including North America, Europe, and parts of Asia, are in serious trouble. Dramatic shifts in climate are wreaking havoc on wheat crops. Picture this: torrential rains drenching fields one season, only to be followed by parched, cracked earth as droughts take over the next. These weather extremes aren't just inconvenient, they're devastating to wheat farmers and their crops. And when crops fail, the ripple effect is felt across every corner of the globe. But the nightmare doesn't stop there. Enter wheat rust. This deadly fungus thrives in warm, moist conditions, exactly the kind of environment becoming more common due to rising global temperatures. Wheat rust doesn't just hurt yields, it can annihilate entire fields. It's a silent predator, attacking crops before farmers can stop it, leaving devastation in its path. The consequences of dwindling wheat production are massive. We're talking skyrocketing prices at the grocery store, food shortages that could trigger social unrest, and the erosion of economies that depend on wheat exports. This isn't just about your next loaf of bread, it's about the entire global food system teetering on the brink. Is there hope? Scientists are racing to develop disease-resistant wheat and sustainable farming methods, but the clock is ticking. For now, every wheat product you see might be more precious than you realize. Keep watching, this list is only getting darker. Number 8 on our list is something that might not land on your dinner plate, but it occupies a special place in millions of hearts and glasses around the globe. We're talking about barley, the key ingredient that makes beer. Beer. Yes, this humble grain is the backbone of an industry beloved by millions. But what if barley production starts to falter? If you think that sounds far-fetched, think again, it's happening right now. Barley's critical role in beer production gives it a unique status in both agriculture and culture. Stretching across fertile lands in Europe, North America, and Australia, barley fields have long been the silent heroes of that frothy pint we enjoy. Yet, those idyllic fields are now facing a nightmare of their own: climate change. Heat waves are scorching crops during crucial growth stages, and unpredictable rains are wreaking havoc during harvest. This double-edged sword of rising temperatures and erratic precipitation isn't just challenging, it's catastrophic. And here's where it gets even more chilling. When barley yields drop, the beer market feels the heat. Prices could soar, availability could shrink, and that refreshing mug of beer might become a rare luxury instead of an everyday treat. Imagine a future where your favorite brew is out of reach, not because it's sold out, but because it doesn't exist in the same way anymore. Farmers and scientists are scrambling for solutions, experimenting with innovative cultivation techniques to keep barley viable as the climate changes. But the pressure is immense and the stakes are high. Barley isn't just a crop, it's a livelihood, a tradition, and a source of joy for billions. Could we be headed toward a world where beer is no longer a staple? Stick around, because this list is only becoming more haunting. Number 7 on our list is a sweet, juicy favorite that may soon become a thing of the past: berries. From plump strawberries to vibrant raspberries, these little bursts of flavor are more than just a treat for many, they're a symbol of health and happiness. But what if I told you that these beloved fruits might disappear from your grocery store shelves? Brace yourself, because berries are facing a battle they might not win. Berries rely on nature's perfect rhythm, a cold winter, to prepare them for a thriving spring. But with winters becoming milder and frosts striking erratically, this delicate cycle is breaking apart. Without that essential winter chill, berry plants struggle to flower on time or produce enough fruit. What's left behind are smaller harvests and weaker plants that can't take the pressure of a world in climate chaos. And Mother Nature isn't pulling any punches. While berries need consistent hydration, too much rain drowns their roots and invites mold that wipes out entire crops. On the flip side, droughts leave them parched, weak, and unable to survive. It's a tightrope farmers can't seem to walk anymore, and the fallout is becoming painfully clear. This crisis doesn't just threaten your breakfast smoothies or desserts. The lives of countless family-owned berry farmers who have stewarded their land for generations hang in the balance. These farms aren't just businesses, they're legacies, traditions, and livelihoods crumbling under the weight of climate unpredictability. Imagine a world without that fresh punnet of berries to brighten your day, a world where strawberries are a rare luxury instead of a common indulgence. It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Number 6 on our list is the creamy favorite that has taken the world by storm: avocados. From the iconic avocado toast that dominates brunch menus to zesty guacamole at the heart of your favorite Mexican dishes, avocados are everywhere. But what if this beloved fruit suddenly vanished from your fridge or grocery store? It's not just a possibility, it's a very real threat. Avocados require extremely specific growing conditions to thrive, and those conditions are under siege. The majority of the world's avocados come from regions like Mexico and parts of Central and South America, areas now teetering under rising temperatures and erratic weather. Extended droughts have drained the water supplies these fruit trees desperately need to survive. Picture dry, cracked earth where lush avocado groves once stood. Without water, these trees can't deliver the buttery green goodness we've grown to love. And the nightmare doesn't end there. Unexpected frost events are crippling avocado production, freezing blossoms before they have the chance to grow into fruit. Frost, combined with a surge in pest infestations targeting avocado crops, is pushing farmers to the brink. Think about it: millions of avocados lost before they even form, devastating harvests and skyrocketing prices. But here's the kicker: the global demand for avocados continues to soar, with no signs of slowing. If production can't keep up, this creamy staple may soon be priced out of reach for most of us. Imagine walking into your grocery store, only to find a single avocado with a shocking price tag, or worse, none at all. Unless immediate action is taken investing in sustainable farming and water-saving techniques, avocado lovers everywhere could face heartbreak. Stick around, because this list isn't just unraveling comforts, it's painting a grim picture of what's to come. Number 5 on our list is a superfood that's found its way into diets around the globe: quinoa. Once revered as the mother grain by ancient Andean civilizations, this nutrient-packed powerhouse is now a pantry staple for health-conscious eaters everywhere. But what if quinoa, with all its protein-rich goodness, suddenly became a rare commodity? This isn't just a hypothetical, it's a looming crisis tied to the escalating wrath of climate change. Quinoa owes its survival to the resilient Andes Mountains, where it's been cultivated for thousands of years in tough, high-altitude conditions. But here's the plot twist: the very environment that protected this cherished grain for so long is now turning against it. Dwindling glaciers, a lifeline for irrigation, are disappearing at an alarming rate. The once predictable rain patterns critical for quinoa cultivation are now erratic, leaving farmers grappling with drought one year and devastating floods the next. And the threat doesn't stop there. The warming climate is making quinoa crops more vulnerable to invasive pests and diseases that couldn't survive in the Andes' frigid altitudes before. For farmers, many of whom have passed down their land for generations, quinoa is not just a livelihood, it's a legacy. But that legacy is now on the brink of collapse. The skyrocketing global demand for quinoa has resulted in its cultivation expanding to new regions, but not every area can replicate the unique conditions of the Andes. Without urgent efforts to blend ancient farming techniques with cutting-edge agricultural practices, quinoa could be pushed into the shadows of history. Imagine a future where this golden grain is no longer a superfood staple, but a rare, expensive delicacy. The stakes are rising, and each passing year feels like another grain slipping through the hourglass. Number 4 on our list is a grocery staple that's practically the star of kitchens worldwide: tomatoes. Whether they're sliced into juicy salads, simmered into rich pasta sauces, or topping your favorite pizzas, tomatoes are everywhere. But what if this beloved fruit started vanishing from store shelves? Sadly, that day might not be as far off as we'd hope. Tomatoes thrive in consistent, warm conditions. They don't ask for much, yet even that has become too much to ask under today's twisted climate trends. Unpredictable hot spells have begun scorching tomato crops, leaving farmers with shriveled, inedible fruit. On the other hand, unexpected cold snaps are disrupting their flowering process, slicing yields before they can even form. Imagine fields of tomato plants barren and lifeless, a grim reality farmers are already confronting. And it gets worse. Unstable water cycles have become a tomato's worst nightmare. Too little water and you're looking at stunted, unhealthy plants. Too much, and you invite problems like blossom end rot, where the tomato fruit literally rots from the inside out. Once flourishing fields are now plagued by a deadly combination of environmental chaos and unstable weather patterns. But this isn't just about losing a favorite ingredient. Tomatoes fuel economies and are a critical part of diets worldwide. They're woven into countless cuisines and are a lifeline for both small-scale farmers and large-scale producers. If tomato cultivation continues on its current downward spiral, we're talking about major economic shockwaves and heartbreaking changes to the dishes we love. Sure, scientists and farmers are working tirelessly to develop drought-tolerant tomato varieties, but it's a race against time. Without action, that vibrant red pop of color on your plate might soon become a distant memory. Number 3 on our list is a humble yet indispensable ingredient that could bring your favorite dishes to a screeching halt: chickpeas. Whether you're scooping up creamy hummus, savoring spicy Indian chana masala, or tossing them into a fresh salad, chickpeas are everywhere. But here's the scary part: they might not be for much longer. Chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans, are cultivated primarily in regions like India, Australia, and parts of the Mediterranean. For decades, they've thrived under predictable weather conditions. But that predictability is gone. Climate change has introduced erratic rainfall patterns, leaving these crops at mercy of either parching droughts or devastating floods. Imagine fields of wilted chickpea plants, starved of water when they need it most, or drowning under relentless torrential rains. Farmers are watching their lifeline wither away right before their eyes. With chickpea production in such a precarious position, the ripples could upend dietary norms worldwide. These legumes are a vital source of protein, particularly in vegetarian and vegan diets. They've been a healthier, more sustainable alternative to meat, and millions count on them for essential nutrients. If chickpeas become scarce, what happens next? Higher prices? Limited availability? A world where that once affordable can of chickpeas turns into a rare luxury. It's a scenario no one wants to face, but it's closer than we think. Efforts to develop drought-resistant strains might offer a glimmer of hope, but time is running out. Unless we drastically rethink water conservation and address climate challenges head-on, chickpeas could disappear from our tables, taking beloved dishes and nutritional staples with them. If you think this is bad, just wait, this list only gets darker from here. Number 2 on our list is a fruit so iconic that it's practically a universal symbol of health: apples. From the crispy sweetness of your favorite snack to the star ingredient in pies, juices, and sauces, apples aren't just a fruit, they're a way of life. But what if apples, in all their glorious varieties, began to vanish from grocery stores? Brace yourself, because this nightmare might just become reality. Apples flourish in temperate zones, their growth cycle reliant on one critical factor: cold winters. That chill is essential, breaking the dormancy of apple tree buds and preparing them for the spring bloom. But as global winters turn warmer, this natural rhythm is being disrupted. Without those freezing temperatures, the buds struggle to awaken, resulting in weaker blossoms and fewer apples. Imagine walking through an orchard where the trees stand barren, blossoms absent, and the fruit nowhere to be found. And then there's water, or increasingly the lack of it. Apples demand steady hydration to grow into the plump, juicy fruits we know and love. Drought conditions, which are ravaging agricultural regions worldwide, are stunting the growth of apple trees. The result? Smaller fruits with less flavor if they grow at all. This isn't just a blow to the fruit's fans, it's a catastrophic hit for farming communities that depend on apple orchards for their livelihoods. But the stakes climb even higher. Apples hold a deep cultural significance in countless regions, from traditional festivals to family recipes passed down for generations. Losing them would be like losing a piece of who we are. Scientists and farmers are racing against time to adapt, but unless swift action is taken, we could face a future where apples become a rare luxury instead of a common delight. Finally, we've reached number 1 on our list, and it's a shocker. Corn. This isn't just about losing popcorn for movie nights or the sweetness of corn on the cob. No, corn is much more than a simple snack. It's a linchpin of global agriculture that fuels entire economies and diets worldwide. But what if corn were to disappear? The idea is terrifying, but the threats are real. Corn, or maize, has been a staple crop since ancient Mesoamerica, providing food for both humans and livestock. Its growth depends on a precise balance of sunlight and consistent moisture. But that balance? It's crumbling under the relentless weight of climate change. Brutal heat waves scorch fields, leaving withered stalks where once there were golden kernels. Meanwhile, extended droughts are depriving crops of the water they desperately need, while sudden heavy rains drown fields, washing away nutrients and obliterating harvests. And that's not all. Shifting climates are giving a boost to pests and diseases that prey on corn. Farmers now face invasions of crop-destroying insects and fungal infestations that threaten to wipe out their yields. Every year, cornfields are turning into battlegrounds, and the odds aren't looking good. This isn't just a blow to our diets, it's a domino effect. Corn is the foundation of livestock feed, meaning fewer animals for meat and dairy production. It powers industries, biofuel production, and even trade economies. A dip in corn production has the potential to create global ripples, rising food prices, limited livestock, and economic turmoil. Despite the efforts of scientists and farmers to adapt, the ticking clock for corn is unnerving. If these challenges remain unaddressed, this agricultural titan could be reduced to a rare and costly commodity. As we conclude our examination of the 12 essential items that could disappear from your grocery store this winter, it becomes clear just how interconnected our food systems are with the forces of nature. The looming threats posed by climate change, water scarcity, and environmental degradation are not distant problems. They're impacting our daily lives in tangible ways. From chickpeas to corn, each item on this list highlights the urgent need for sustainable practices, innovative agricultural solutions, and a collective commitment to preserving the planet's resources. While these challenges are daunting, they also present an opportunity to rethink and reshape our approach to food production and consumption. By supporting sustainable agriculture, reducing food waste, and advocating for policies that address climate change, we can work towards a future where grocery store shelves are resilient against the growing uncertainties of the environment. Together, we can ensure that these essential items remain staples in our diets now and for generations to come.